So today we're going to pull a nail on one of our guild bottles and we're going to see how it's going. So from time to time, it's really important for us to sample what's in our barrels. So as usual, the first thing we're going to do is make sure that our process is clean and sanitized. So we've hit the nail with some 70% isopropyl, and occasionally we build up this negative pressure and we need to vent the bung to let the flow come out. And this is a really special barrel. We've only used vermouth barrels a couple of times and we've never been steered wrong. The way that they impart the herbal and botanical characteristics of vermouth is incredible. So vermouth is a wine where you quite often take a distilled wine like a grappa, aguardiente, brandy is like a barrel-aged distilled wine. So depending on what country you're coming from, vermouth being Italian, it would be like grappa, and you can soak herbs, botanicals in the grappa. You can put them into the still. There are all these different sort of processes or recipes to making vermouth. It can be dry, it can be semi-sweet or sweet, it can be made from white wine or red wine, and vermouth is really unique. And most of the time, you only think about vermouth as being an element in your martini. And increasingly, vermouth is coming back into vogue as a really popular drink on its own. It's something I would like to make on my own one day. And as a winery, legally, we can actually purchase grappa, and there's a federal process of transitioning the distillate from the distillery over to a winery, and then we can go through our process of soaking herbs and whatnot. So one day I really would love to make vermouth, but we can buy vermouth barrels and it soaks into the staves, and over time with temperature changes and humidity changes, the liquid's going to go in and out of the wood, and alcohol is this beautiful solvent that's going to extract flavor from the very grain of the barrel. And so we're going to see how this plum mead is interacting with the vermouth barrel when we pull a sample. Eventually, by the time this gets into a bottle for our guild, we're going to have bergamot, orange zest, jasmine pearls, raisins. This is one of the craziest things we've ever put together. The working title for this mead is Arabesque, and I think that that's both this kind of cool ballet move, which I will not demonstrate, but one leg kind of goes out behind you, and it's also a word that describes a style of art, which you're going to see on the label. It also describes a feeling and a concept. And wine really, according to many accounts, originated sort of in the Middle East, in Persia, and then it got into Georgia. And so, depending on what source you read, wine in a long time ago, thousands of years ago, was being grown and enjoyed in that part of the world. So I think that it's kind of cool to bring back that feeling, and I think the label will reflect that. But anyways, let's see how this plum melomel in a vermouth barrel right now is doing. All right, I think I can pull a sample from that. Here we go. All right, it already looks like plums. And by the way, we took whole plums and we fermented them on the plum fruit, on the plum skins. We macerated them a bit to be able to expose the fruit itself to the mead as we did the fermentation. That is beautiful. I mean, Arizona honey and plums, and you're getting that color mostly from the skins of the plums, because the plum fruit's going to have that sort of tan straw color most often. Sometimes there's red plums as well, but I mean, this is skin and tannin. I'm going to expect there to be some plum skin tannin in here. You can smell the vermouth straight off the nose. It's herbally, botanical. It's a little boozy, which, after all, that's why we're here, right? I can get honey, but I think I'm going to taste it more than I can smell it. It smells amazing. It is like a beautiful bouquet. And it looks like the richest rosé I've ever seen. That is amazing. It just keeps passing across your palate. It's savory. to think, I mean, this is like perfect now, but to think what that orange zest and some jasmine pearls and a little bit of raisin's gonna do to this, because it's fairly acidic, it's fairly tannic in a really pleasant way, but I think those other elements are gonna add different layers of flavor that's going to really work in harmony with what I'm getting right now. It's semi-sweet, which balances the booze from the vermouth, but it is just a floral bouquet exploding in the glass. I think I've had a couple examples of vermouth. If I put this in a bottle right now and said this is a sweet red wine vermouth, you would totally be like, this is the best vermouth I've ever had. It is amazing how the character of the vermouth gets into a product so fast. I mean, we've been doing bourbon barrels, tequila, rum, rye whiskey, I mean, on and on and on. And I don't think anything, even new oak, is as assertive as a vermouth barrel is on your product. I mean, it tastes like vermouth within a couple of days. And this is just kicking beautiful vermouth flavor. It's sweet, so it's not like the kind of vermouth that, like, if you've ever sipped what you're putting into your martini, it's definitely different than that. This is like a semi-sweet wine with herbs in it in the very best way. It's definitely boozy, it's warming, but balanced from that residual sweetness of the honey that we used. This is one of the hottest days of the year in Prescott. We have our doors open because we're canning today, and it's probably 90 degrees in here right now. The liquid's probably in the low 70s, which is causing it to go in and out of the staves. Normally we like things to be a little bit cooler, but you know, there's seasons after all. My point is that I think if this was a little bit chilled, it'd be more refreshing, like anything would be. But the flavor at this temperature, warmer than room temperature, is so delicious. And that's really a sign that this will stand up so well to anyone's assertion of what a beautiful mead in a vermouth barrel could be. I've quite literally never had anything that tastes like this or this good in this category. I think the guild's going to be pleased. Cheers.